The year is 1790. Nestled in a secluded glen draped in an ethereal mist lies the village of Sleepy Hollow. It's a place where time seems to drift along like the languid waters of the Hudson River nearby. Ancient trees stand guard, their gnarled branches casting long, eerie shadows that dance in the twilight. The air hums with the murmur of insects and the rustling of leaves, whispers of secrets passed down through generations. Sleepy Hollow is a place steeped in folklore, a place where the line between reality and superstition blurs with the setting sun. Its inhabitants are known for their love of ghost stories, tales whispered around crackling hearths on cold autumn nights. These tales, passed down through generations, weave a tapestry of mystery and intrigue around the village. They speak of strange lights flickering in the distant woods and disembodied laughter echoing through the valley. But no tale is more chilling, more ingrained in the fabric of Sleepy Hollow than the legend of the Headless Horseman. He is said to be the ghost of a Hessian soldier, decapitated by a stray cannonball during the Revolutionary War. His restless spirit, forever searching for his missing head, haunts the hollow, a harbinger of doom for those unfortunate enough to cross his path. The very air in Sleepy Hollow seems to vibrate with an unseen energy, a palpable sense of the supernatural that sends shivers down the spine. It's a place where the past and present intertwine, where logic surrenders to the realm of myth and legend. Into this enigmatic village arrives Ichabod Crane, a lanky, gangly schoolmaster from Connecticut. With his long, spindly limbs, oversized feet, and a nose that seemed to rival Cyrano de Bergerac's, Ichabod cut a rather comical figure. His clothes, often patched and threadbare, hung loosely on his gaunt frame, as if perpetually struggling to keep up with his rapid movements. Despite his awkward appearance, Ichabod possessed a certain charm, a quick wit, and an insatiable appetite for the macabre. He could recite ghost stories with chilling realism, his eyes gleaming with an almost childlike fascination as he recounted tales of haunted houses and restless spirits. His arrival in Sleepy Hollow, a place so steeped in superstition, was almost destined to be a recipe for extraordinary events. Ichabod, with his hunger for knowledge, devoured Cotton Mather's accounts of witchcraft and the supernatural. He saw the world through superstitious lenses, interpreting every creak of a floorboard and rustle of leaves as a potential omen. This made him both intrigued and terrified of the local tales, particularly those surrounding the Headless Horseman. The villagers, with their penchant for storytelling, welcomed Ichabod into their midst, recognizing in him a kindred spirit. But little did they know the strange and unsettling events that would unfold with the arrival of this seemingly harmless schoolmaster. Ichabod's path was about to intersect with the legend of Sleepy Hollow in a most unexpected and terrifying way. The legend of the Headless Horseman is woven into the very fabric of Sleepy Hollow. It's a tale whispered in hushed tones, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks beneath the surface of the seemingly peaceful village. The stories vary, each storyteller adding their own embellishments, but the core remains constant, a spectre on horseback, his head severed from his body, eternally searching for what he has lost. Some say he rides on moonless nights, his approach heralded by the pounding of hooves and the eerie quiet that descends upon the land. Others claim to have seen him rise from the very grave in the old churchyard, his spectral steed pawing at the ground, snorting plumes of ghostly fire. The horseman is said to be the embodiment of violence and vengeance, a creature of pure instinct and rage. Some believe he seeks only to reclaim his missing head, while others claim he roams the hollow, looking to claim the heads of the living. Regardless of the interpretation, one thing remains constant. The Headless Horseman is a creature to be feared, a symbol of the darkness that can consume even the bravest of souls. The villagers of Sleepy Hollow treat the legend with a mixture of fear and fascination. They spin yarns about the horseman's exploits, each tale more terrifying than the last. But beneath the bravado, there lies a deep-seated fear. a knowledge that some legends are best left undisturbed. For in Sleepy Hollow, the line between myth and reality is often blurred, and the spectral and the real have a way of colliding when least expected. Ichabod Crane's days in Sleepy Hollow were a peculiar mix of routine and unease. By day, he'd preside over the village schoolhouse, a rickety one-room building that echoed with the cacophony of children reciting their lessons. He ruled with a mixture of strict discipline and absent-minded amusement, often losing himself in daydreams of ghost stories and local legends. Ichabod saw teaching as a means to an end, a way to support his true passion, the pursuit of knowledge, particularly of the supernatural. He would spend hours in the village library poring over dusty tomes, his long fingers tracing the faded ink of ancient texts. He devoured stories of witches, spectres, and haunted glens, his imagination running wild with each turn of the page. His evenings were often spent at the homes of his students, accepting their hospitality in the form of hearty meals and lively conversation. It was during these gatherings that Ichabod would truly come alive, regaling his hosts with his vast repertoire of spooky tales. His eyes would sparkle with mischief as he spoke, his voice rising and falling with the drama of the story, sending shivers down the spines of his captivated audience. Despite his eccentric ways, Ichabod was well liked in Sleepy Hollow. He was seen as a harmless oddity, a source of both entertainment and education. They found his fascination with their local legends endearing, unaware of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface of his fascination. But Ichabod's life in Sleepy Hollow was about to take a dramatic turn, for he had set his sights on a prize that would pit him against a formidable rival and lead him down a dangerous path. Katrina Van Tassel was the only daughter of Baltus Van Tassel, one of the wealthiest farmers in Sleepy Hollow. She was a vision of loveliness, with rosy cheeks, sparkling blue eyes, and a cascade of golden curls that framed her delicate features. But Katrina was more than just a pretty face. She was a skilled equestrian, a talented musician, and possessed a sharp wit that could disarm even the most confident suitor. Ichabod, with his romantic notions and penchant for daydreams, was instantly smitten with Katrina. He saw in her a path to both love and financial security, a way to escape his humble existence and secure a comfortable future. He imagined himself as the master of the Van Tassel estate, surrounded by luxury and adored by his beautiful wife. He began to court Katrina with an awkward yet earnest enthusiasm. He showered her with compliments, recited poetry with melodramatic flair, and even attempted to impress her with his singing voice, much to the amusement of the other villagers. But Ichabod's path to winning Katrina's heart was not without its obstacles, for he had attracted the attention of a rival suitor, a man who would stop at nothing to claim Katrina as his own. Section 6. A rivalry ignited. Ichabod Crane versus Brom Bones. Brom Bones was everything Ichabod Crane was not. Tall, muscular, and brimming with confidence, he was the village hero, a skilled horseman, a renowned wrestler, and the life of every party. He could charm the birds from the trees with his easy smile and booming laughter, and his reputation as a prankster was legendary. Brom had set his sights on Katrina long before Ichabod arrived in Sleepy Hollow. He saw her as his rightful prize, the jewel in his crown of conquest. But with the arrival of the lanky schoolmaster, Brom found his position as Katrina's favoured suitor threatened. A fierce rivalry ignited between the two men, a clash of personalities and ambitions. Brom, used to getting his way, was both amused and annoyed by Ichabod's attempts to woo Katrina. He resorted to a series of pranks designed to humiliate and discredit his rival. He would spook Ichabod's horse, spread rumours of his clumsiness, and generally make life difficult for the hapless schoolmaster. Ichabod, for his part, was both intimidated and enraged by Brom's antics. He lacked the physical prowess to challenge Brom directly, so he resorted to more subtle tactics. He would try to outwit Brom with his knowledge, impress Katrina with his stories, and generally undermined Brom's attempts to win her over. The rivalry between the two men escalated with each passing day, casting a shadow over the once peaceful village of Sleepy Hollow. Section 7. A Fateful Night. The Halloween Party. As the days grew shorter and the leaves turned vibrant shades of red and gold, a sense of anticipation filled the air in Sleepy Hollow. It was Halloween, a night when the veil between the living and the dead was said to be at its thinnest. The villagers, with their love of the supernatural, embraced the holiday with gusto, gathering for a grand party at the Van Tassel farm. The atmosphere was festive, with music, dancing, and enough food to satisfy even the heartiest appetite. Ichabod, dressed in his best though slightly ill-fitting suit, arrived at the party with a heart full of hope. He had spent weeks practicing his dance steps and preparing witty anecdotes, determined to win Katrina's favour. Brom was also in attendance, looking resplendent in a hunting shirt and breeches that accentuated his muscular physique. He kept a watchful eye on Katrina, his jealousy simmering as he observed Ichabod's attempts to charm her. The party raged on, fueled by apple cider and tales of ghosts and goblins. Ichabod, caught up in the excitement of the evening, allowed himself to believe that he might actually succeed in winning Katrina's heart. But fate, it seemed, had other plans for the lovesick schoolmaster. Section 8. A Race Against Terror. The Headless Horseman Rides. As the party drew to a close, Ichabod found himself alone with Katrina. He gathered his courage and confessed his love, his voice trembling with a mixture of hope and fear. Katrina, amused by his awkward advances, did not immediately reject him, leaving Ichabod with a glimmer of hope. However, as Ichabod made his way home that night, his heart filled with a mix of longing and apprehension, the festive mood of the evening evaporated. The path ahead was dark, illuminated only by the pale glow of the moon. The wind whispered through the trees, carrying with it the scent of decaying leaves and the promise of the coming winter. It was then that Ichabod became aware of a sound that sent a chill down his spine, the sound of approaching hoofbeats. He turned to see a dark figure emerging from the shadows, silhouetted against the moonlit sky. The figure drew closer and Ichabod's blood ran cold. It was the Headless Horseman, his spectral steed snorting plumes of vapor into the night air. Panic seized Ichabod's heart. He spurred his horse, Old Gunpowder, into a gallop, but the Headless Horseman easily kept pace. The chase was on, a desperate race against terror through the darkened heart of Sleepy Hollow. Ichabod could hear the horseman's eerie laughter echoing behind him, a sound that seemed to drain the very warmth from his body. Section 9. The Mystery Remains. The Vanishing of Ichabod Crane. The next morning, the villagers of Sleepy Hollow awoke to a baffling mystery. Ichabod Crane had vanished without a trace, his fate a topic of endless speculation. Some whispered that he had been spirited away by the Headless Horseman, his soul claimed by the vengeful spectre. Others, more pragmatic, suggested that he had fled in terror, leaving behind his belongings and his dreams of winning Katrina's hand. The only clue to Ichabod's disappearance was a shattered pumpkin found near the bridge where the Headless Horseman was said to vanish. Whether the pumpkin was a simple accident or a chilling message from the horseman himself remained a matter of debate. In the aftermath of Ichabod's disappearance, Brom married Katrina Van Tassel, solidifying his position as the most eligible bachelor in Sleepy Hollow. He would often chuckle when asked about Ichabod's fate, but a flicker of unease in his eyes suggested that perhaps he knew more than he let on. The legend of Ichabod Crane became intertwined with that of the Headless Horseman, a cautionary tale whispered around hearths on cold winter nights. The story served as a reminder that in Sleepy Hollow, the line between reality and superstition was thin indeed, and that some mysteries are best left unsolved.